Snohomish, Washington. It's already about 72 degrees, 73 degrees now. Temperature is 5:53 a.m. And the daytime high temperature today is expected to be record-setting. At the moment, here in Snohomish, which is about 30 miles north of Seattle, the forecast is calling for 104 degrees. Last night, it was calling for 106 for today. I've even seen it as high as 109. So officially, we're looking at 104 degrees for the predicted high as of this moment for today's temperature, but it could be even higher. I'm kind of hiding, blocking from myself from the bright sun behind the iPad this morning. I hope you're having a great start to your day. If you're catching the replay, thank you very much for checking it out. I'm at Glacier Peak High School, which overlooks the Snohomish Valley. And this is one of my favorite places to come walk and maybe even jog around the track or neighboring field. And right now I've got pretty much the whole place. Yeah, I think I do, to myself. There was a jogger here. He arrived shortly after I did. I think he's already gone. So I'm in shorts, short sleeves. I'm already getting a bit parched. There's something, it's not even, it's wildfire season, I guess now, but there's not a wildfire that's affecting, to my knowledge, the air quality here, but it already kind of has that bitter taste in the air. I mean, let's look out front. And we'll zoom in on a bit of the valley there in just a moment. There we go. A low, thin blanket of fog and mist over the valley down below. And Cosmic Rose says, welcome to my world down in California. Oh, it's buffering, is it? Is it still buffering, Cosmic Rose? I'm sorry to hear that. Here, we're going to change the shot up a little bit. There we go. That's a pity that it's buffering. I'll tell you what, I've lived in, well, I grew up here, and you get the humidity. And it's not like Houston, Texas humidity by any stretch, but it's more humidity than you get in Tucson, Arizona, Albuquerque, New Mexico, other places I've lived. So yeah, it's not a dry heat, that's for sure. But the key thing is to keep hydrated, if at all possible. Of course, stay in an air-conditioned building, stay inside if you can do that. Keep an eye out for your loved ones, your parents, if you have elderly parents especially. I took my father-in-law, who's in his 90s, for an hour-and-a-half car ride last, I guess you'd have to say it was late afternoon into the evening. I guess it was pretty much evening, yeah, until sunset, basically. Because it is a dangerous heat. Keeps cutting in and out, but I don't think you're losing anything yet. Okay, question mark. Well, I hope not. Thank you, Cosmic Rose. Really appreciate the feedback as always. I've been meaning to get up early several days in a row now, and it has been such a struggle. In fact, yesterday I remember I woke up around 7, I woke up again around 7:30, kept telling myself I would get up. It was so hot inside my place because I don't have air conditioning. I fell back asleep and my wife woke me up at 11:30 a.m., so I really got nothing accomplished yesterday morning. The moon is out, still very high in the western sky. Still mostly lit up, about 66% I'd say. Let's see if I can show you the moon here in just a moment. I'm going to try and get a shot of the moon. Okay, let's cut to the moon now. There you go, there's the moon. All of this coming to you live from Glacier Peak High School in Snohomish, Washington. Done many a live stream here over the years, be it sunrise or moonrise. Going back and forth between cameras here. That's interesting because that shot looks different than the way I seem to have it framed up. That is odd. Okay, now it's properly. It jolted there, didn't it? Okay, it looks like it's freezing up a little bit. Hopefully it's not freezing for you as well, but it very well may be. Let me try and change a setting here. Okay, that is that other camera, so we'll come back to this one for now. I think we're good on this camera. The other one, we're getting some connection issues. I'm going to bring the other one closer. Maybe we'll get a better connection. Anyhow, it's going to be one of those days about, okay, since I don't have air conditioning, is it going to be another day at the river with the kids? We've been to Mukilteo, which is Puget Sound, saltwater. We were there, gosh, I guess it was for a spell yesterday. But I've also had my kids down at the Snohomish River. I've had them at the Pilchuck River. Just trying to stay cool. I'm going to disconnect the other camera and reconnect it to see if we can resolve this connectivity issue. In the meantime, we'll stay live on this camera. We'll continue to show the picture from the iPad. Meantime, thank you very much for watching this stream, this live broadcast being brought to you here on Beyond 90 Seconds on YouTube, exclusively, meaning you're not seeing any other branding from any other live streaming platform burned into the video here. If you're interested, you can also find my photography on Instagram at Beyond 90 Seconds as well. And if you're into Facebook, I'm over on Facebook at Mark Horner Media. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, I'm also at Beyond 90 Seconds on Twitter. And it's great to have you here. Now let's disconnect that other camera and see if we can get that resolved. I should check comments real quick. Got to know that iPad clamp setup. Okay, Cosmic Rose. I recently got this, literally within a week ago. And I got it because I was going to Camino here. Let me just check. Yeah, I'll give you that story behind the scenes as to why I decided to get this in just a moment. But first, I am going to disconnect the other camera and try and reconnect in the hopes of resolving the lag on the iPhone 12 Pro Max, which is really odd since it's the one that's providing the signal. It's the one that's getting the cellular signal, which I'm tethering to the iPad. Part of me wonders if it's because I let the battery get too low. I mean, I am charging it as we speak. What's interesting is it doesn't want to let me disconnect. There we go. So we're off the switcher. I'll give you that iPad story in just a moment in terms of the iPad stand. What I want to do, Cosmic Rose, is bring in a live guest. I was talking to Christian Sassy about that last night. He'd be happy to join. I was thinking it'd be fun when he was out at the Osprey Nest. We're both in different live locations out remotely instead of, safely connected to a hard wire indoors. We'd be out in the wild, so to speak. He was all into that. Let's share this camera. Okay, let's see if we get a better connection now with that other camera. Okay, it's trying to connect to the iPad Pro, or the iPhone 12. All right, so far so good. Okay, let's see how this works out. Okay, so far it looks like I have a good connection. So thank you for allowing for the live troubleshooting here, folks. All right, and it's bright, let me tell you. Let's see what the temperature is now. Okay, we're still, it looks like, hanging tight at 73. Yeah. So I got this stand because I went to do a live stream at a beach, not Mukilteo, but Camino Island. And I thought to myself, how am I going to, I want to stream rather than using the phone as a switcher, I'll use my iPad as a switcher. But how was I going to handle that in terms of Am I going to set it down on the beach? Because I'll tell you what I have for it. Hang on. I have a Magic Keyboard, which is what this is. Okay, so I could set this on a log at the beach, but really I want to have it at eye level for convenience. Because one of the reasons is let's go to the iPad camera, and if I want to reverse that and do a selfie angle, I want to have the ability, look how bright that is, wow! Okay, I want to have the ability to be at eye level, roughly, and this gives me that. And this stand is adjustable. I can have it fairly low, but I can also get it up to about eye level if I'm going to be standing. So this is the solution, and I'm not saying it's perfect, because if it was really windy, I wouldn't trust this. Because I have the iPad removed from the Magic Keyboard, I have no case on it right now. So if it tipped over, it would not be good news. But there's no wind whatsoever, and hopefully I won't kick the stand, right? So let's go back over to the other camera. In fact, let's do this. We're going to go back to this one. There's my finger, but we're going to reverse this again, so I can go back to the sunrise. All right. Look, you're even catching a bit of the iPhone over there. So if there's the iPhone 12 Pro Max on a tripod that is suitable for a much bigger and heavier camera. That's my Manfrotto tripod. Let's bring this over here. And we'll go to one of the other cameras on the iPad to get a little closer before we do any zooming. There we go. I like that. So that is the story as to why I got this. You know, I looked at iPad stands. I saw some really attractive ones that were kind of meant to be on a desk, maybe a music stand, but the base on them was very heavy, and the base on the one I was particularly looking at was 10 pounds, and I didn't want 10 pounds because I go out and I'm remote. So another nice thing, I'll show you here. Another nice thing is the stand goes into this bag. So the stand goes into the bag, collapses, and there are only really two pieces that I put in here. It's the stand, and then at the top of the stand, clamped down, is this gooseneck, which can be bent and tilted. This itself has another knob to tilt it as well. So those two things fit into this bag, and it's all very lightweight. And because I oftentimes carry around several, well, 2 or 3 camera bags in my Manfrotto tripod, low impact, low weight, small, minimal is definitely preferred. Okay, we're now at 6:12 a.m. and we're still looking at 73 degrees. Again, the daytime high is expected to be about 104 today. Earlier forecast at various parts of yesterday aimed at someone, you know, the National Weather Service trying to call it accurately, ranged a bit higher than 104. We saw 106, we saw 108. I even think I saw 109. Speaking of our friend Christian Sassi, I was speaking to him, as I mentioned last night, and he is at his second home on Lake Okanagan, which is in southern British Columbia. It's much like central Washington State, where you get the Upper Sonoran Desert. In fact, that's what it is, Upper Sonoran Desert. And he was telling me that the forecast was calling for a daytime high of 115 degrees Fahrenheit, where he's at Lake Okanagan, southern British Columbia, Canada. So that's a number we don't often hear associated with Canada, but it can happen. And increasingly so in modern times, it seems. Let's check out the YouTube comments. So I hope that was helpful, Cosmic Rose, regarding the iPad setup for the iPad stand. I actually have 2 more phones with me. I could set up 2 more cameras, but I got here a little bit later than I expected. In other words, I slept in a little bit. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a test. I am going to walk across that field. I'm getting the, looks like the iPhone has big time latency again, so we'll just stay on this camera for now. I'm going to walk across that field, and I'm going to see if you guys can hear me the whole time. I'll take my camera with me. So I'm on a wireless mic. I've gone live here before, and I've gone across that field and been able to speak to you the whole way. So let's go for it. I'll be the guy in shorts with a camera around his neck. I'm gonna carry my mic pack because I've lost so much weight that my shorts tend to fall down with anything in my pockets. How's that for transparency? All right, so you should still be able to hear me and see me. Now let's go across the field and see how well the microphone range is working these days. That's a beautiful morning. Glacier Peak High School, home of the Grizzlies. Okay, we're nearly at the center of the field. Well, halfway across the field. Well, why would I do this? Because I can, I hope. Actually, it's really good to know because when I go out to live locations, if there's breaking news or some other event where it's beneficial to me and to ultimately you as the viewer to somehow get away from the camera, still be able to communicate with you while I cover that live event, it's good to know my range. Now my range is gonna depend in part, large part, on what other radio signals are in the area and how much of them. But here I am, clear across the field. Here, we'll rake the fence. Sometimes I see deer here. There's a landfill down below. And it seems everywhere around here on this bluff where there have been forever, it seems, woods, we're now seeing homes. There's so much clearing going on along that bluff for miles and new neighborhoods with big expensive homes going in. Anyhow, I hope that you guys are able to hear me still. Cosmic Rose, if you're still with me, and this held up in terms of you were able to see and hear. Hopefully you're hearing me now and you can let me know whether or not this was very successful. But, you know, using this wireless technology where I can use several iOS cameras simultaneously. Imagine, you know, showing a football game or soccer game or lacrosse match here. It'd be very easy to do as long as I had good internet. And beyond what's immediately available, there are bonding devices that bond multiple cellular signals to a single source, which would be a solution. Costs a little bit of money to do that, or arguably a lot, but I look forward to checking out your comments. Boy, I did that a few years ago on Periscope and it went really well. Let's see how it went today. Okay, no other feedback. Guess I'll have to check out the replay myself. Yeah, the iPhone's still having a lot of latency. Very interesting. cut to it briefly. But it looks like you're going to see what looks like a lot of buffering if I go to this camera. So we'll go back to the other one. Okay. All right, the temperature is now, well, I'm still getting 73 degrees at 6:18 a.m. Let's bring it in even closer. Not that close. I'm going to turn the camera a little bit. Let's see if we can get a little closer on that valley floor. There you can just make out some trees down there in that wispy early morning fog and mist. And we just need some cool air to come in, or some winds to sweep the stuff in the air out of here. Not just the cooler temperatures, but the air seems to be, the air quality seems to be deteriorating a bit since a couple days ago. There we go. Okay, I'm looking at my weather app right now. And now looks like so I'll share the forecast as follows. Okay, now we're looking at, okay, by 8 a.m., 81 degrees. By 9 a.m., 88 degrees. 10 a.m., 90. 11 a.m., the forecast now calls for 95 degrees. At noon today, the forecast is now calling for 99 degrees. At 1 p.m., 1 o'clock this afternoon, the forecast is calling for a temperature of 102 degrees. At 2 p.m., 104 degrees. And at 3 o'clock this afternoon, and again at 4 o'clock, the same number, forecast now calling for a temperature of 106 degrees Fahrenheit. At 5 p.m., it'll go down to 102, according to the current forecast that I'm looking at. This is the weather app on my Apple Watch. So that's what I'm getting in terms of the most recent numbers that are available to me and where I'm getting them from. Okay, so currently still 73 degrees at 6:22 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Okay, anyhow, barring any questions, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. But I want to thank you very much for checking out this live stream. If you're watching the replay, thank you very much for checking out the replay as well. I'm going to duck below the iPad there, but you get reflection and shade on my face. So let's turn it around. But that sun is bright, as you might imagine. Let's go here. There we go. All right. If you like this type of content, please feel free to like and subscribe. If you want to hit the bell button, you'll be notified. You hit that bell whenever I go live, or most of the time. I have been doing a lot of live streaming lately, but I also upload content that's been prepared and carefully edited as well. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Take care.